Sec. Thank you, Sec Nanilyn, for reminding. So, yun nga, bale, it's my way of giving back to the community, diba? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joy. True naman na giving back to the community. So I want to hear one more answer before we proceed. Anyone na gusto mag-volunteer to share then yung mga experiences nila or yung mga anong inspiration nyo in helping the community? Anyone? Sige, I want...
Voluntold yan. Voluntold.
Sige.
Isa sa mga past president natin.
Yeah. I want to hear an answer from PP Cynthia.
Mute. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi,
wow. Community projects. Well, ako yata yung pinaka-senior dito. Wait.
Grabe
unless
naman.
Aggie is here. Aggie and the Lou. Wait. I joined the JCI 1989 and what made me stay? Well, 1989 up to 2000, I was active, and then again 2011 up to the present from time to time. And what made me stay with the JCs, or during the time we call it JCs, but now it's JCI. What made me stay is the friendship. It's actually, it's kasi JCI is not only about community projects, but there are a lot of opportunities like before it's individual management, community internationalism, and I think now there's business. And with the community, it's self-fulfillment. And what President Joy mentioned, it's also my way of giving back to the community. And you can see kasi in the eyes of the beneficiaries na talagang every time yung mga community projects, makikita mo yung parang they're so thankful na there are people like us who are willing to help the community. Kasi it's not only financial, but also our time. Kasi what is more important is the time. Diba? We spend time with them. Kasi a lot of people have been giving financial support, but not everyone could give their time. Yeah, spending time with them. Like, for example, our yearly project with the Pangarap Shelter, diba? That's been ongoing for several years, 1990, I think 1991, 1992 pa yan. Yeah.
Until now,
yeah, diba? So, parang lumaki na yung mga bata dun sa Pangarap Shelter, diba? So, makikita mo yung fulfillment. Hindi, matagal na rin ako hindi nakapunta doon, but you know, the fulfillment on our part na seeing them happy to see us. Diba? And I'm not only active with JCI, but I'm currently the president of the Innovate Club of Makati naman. It's all female also. I've been with the organization for 6 years na din. And this is my term. My term started last July last year and until June this year. And grabe nga almost every day then we have activities. Kaya nga I checked. This is the only time na good thing wala ako kasi every Wednesdays and Fridays we have dance practices for the national conference. But since President Joy sent a message, special request past president, because the speaker is JCI Senator Reggie, and Reggie has been active also since the 90s. I know he was still new during the time that I was president.
Mamaya po malalaman natin yung edad niya, ganon.
He's younger naman kasi parang he was still new when I was the president of JCI Perlas. And during that time, he was already active with the Manila JCs.
Yes.
So more power to JCI Perlas Pasay.
Thank you, P.
Thank you, Pipi Cynthia. Yes. Ano nga, nakakatuwa nga naman yung mag-share tayo na-inspire tayong tumulong. So, to open our program, may we call on our VP for Motivate, VP Cristel Nagar for opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Derek K. Parang ako ulit yon. So, well, I would like first to acknowledge, of course, yung mga guests natin dito sa Zoom. Right now, we are 29. We have 29 participants, all, or 28, all from Perlas, Pasay. So, very star-studded to because when I saw yung mga participants natin, puro past presidents. We're very happy. So to start off, we would like to acknowledge, of course, 1995 President Cynthia Francisco Timbol.
Hello.
Hi, Pres. 1988 Pres Aggie Angeles. Hi,
Hello.
PPSC.
Everyone, hi.
And then we have 2007 Pres Meldy Valdivino. Hi, PP. Okay, 2009 Press Leiden Pedrinia. Hi, Pipi Leiden.
Hi.
Hi.
Ano, ni Madam Press na pumunta. Tsaka si medyo yung magsasalita. Very special si Senator Reggie nung term ko. We invited him to a lot of training. So, support. Dito ako. Sorry, side muna.
So parang kilalang kilala si Press Reggie dito. Okay, and then we have 2011 Press Sharky. Hi, PP Sharky. And then we have 2012 Press Smile.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hi, PP Smile. And then we have 2015 Press Maje Bambo. Hi, PP Maje. Okay. And we have 2016 President Ses Apad. Hi, PP Ses. Okay. And we have 2017 President Bea Soler. Hi, PP Bea. Okay. And then after ni PP Bea, we have 2018 President Mafe Pastor PD. Hi, PP Mafe. And we would also like to acknowledge also the presence of 2022 BOD. We have here Director Sophia, Sec Nanilin Bontoyan, VP Sheena. Hi, VP Sheena. Nice to have you here. BP Via Valderrama, and EBP Marites Salva. And then we have, of course, Press Joy. And then we have our 2021 director, Direct Daisy. Hi, Direct Daisy. And then I think kanina nandito rin si Direct Tin Bello. And, hi. And of course, we would also like to thank yung mga BBJCs natin who are very active in attending mga trainings ng Perlas Pasay. We have here BBJC Erica, Catherine, Luz, Maria Gliceriza, Manchi, Ronica, Rox, and our Perlas members, Donessa Soler, Diana Stalder, and Jamaila Eileen. Hello, everyone. So, I think wala naman ako na-miss, no? So, since March, diba? March is Women's Month, and in this month, it's always all about women, empowering women. But today's talk, it's a bit different. Kasi this time, we will hear a gentleman empowering women, empowering Perlas, and our hearts in serving our community. So I know some of you, narinig ko na kanina, nakilala niyo siya. I know some of you heard his name or familiar on how he looks. Diba? Guwapo. Guwapo ba? So, but we, the 2022 Board of Directors, do not want you to know only him only by his name or by how he looks, diba? We also want you to be inspired. And I challenge you to ignite your sparks within. And without further ado, I know we're very excited to see him. I'm also very excited to see him. May I call on our Director for Recruitment, Director Sophia, Aragon to introduce our speaker for tonight. Hi, Direct Sophia.
Hello po, VP Cristel. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to introduce our speaker for this evening. Our speaker for tonight is a certified public accountant by title and an entrepreneur by practice. He completed his elementary and secondary education from Xavier School in 1984. A consistent Xavier awardee and General Diligence awardee in his school years, he served as grade school student council president in 1980, treasurer of the High School Student Council, and editor-in-chief of Xavier's High School Yearbook, The Metamorphosis, in 1984. Believing that he could best serve the community by being active in social-civic organizations, he devoted a great part of his time to the Junior Chamber International Movement since 1991. He served as director in 1999 to 2000, treasurer in 2000 to 2001, and Secretary General in 2003 to 2004 of JCI Manila, and was appointed National Secretary General of JCI Philippines in 2002. He was also chosen to be the Deputy National Chairman for the Search for the Outstanding Young Men of the Philippines Awards in 1999 and 2005. He is best known by his contemporaries in the JCI movement as the historian of the organization, having published a coffee table book on the history of JCI Manila and several monographs on the history of JCI Philippines and Junior Chamber International. Because of his invaluable contributions in the Junior Chamber movement, he was conferred the Most Outstanding Member of the World Award in 2004 and the Most Outstanding JCI Senator of the World Award in 2005, the only member in the worldwide organization's history to have received two prestigious honors from Junior Chamber International. He also swept the award for the Most Outstanding JCI Member of the Year in his home local organization, JCI Manila, 1997 and 2002, the Metro Area, 2001 and 2003, the National Convention, 2001 and 2002, and the Asia Pacific Conference in 2002. He is currently involved in a number of business and professional organizations, among them the JCI Senate Manila, where he served as president from 2011 to 2013, national chairman of the Outstanding Filipino Awards in 2011, the Anvil Business Club, where he served as president from 2014 to 2016, the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, where he is a life-sustaining member since 1989, the JCI Senate Philippines, where he was appointed Public Relations Officer in 2009, National Treasurer in 2012, and National Director in 2019, and the Alumni Association of Xavier School, where he served as president from 2017 to 2019. He currently sits as treasurer of the Philippine JC Senate Foundation, a trustee of the advisory board of the Outstanding Filipino Awards Foundation, vice president-elect of the Rotary Club of Manila, and treasurer of the Together Ensemble Foundation, a French-Filipino NGO for humanitarian aid and development. Ladies, please welcome our speaker for today, JCI Senator Reginald Yu.
All right. Thank you very much for that very, very generous introduction, Director Sophia. And good evening, my esteemed sisters of JCI Perlas Pasay. Now, first of all, on behalf of my colleagues in your brother chapter from JCI Manila, I thank you very much for having me in this forum. I would like to extend my appreciation to your alluring president, Joy Medina, for inviting me here tonight. I'm also very delighted to see some of your past presidents and JCI senators in this virtual room. No? Among them, I see 1988 President Aggie Angeles, my contemporary and colleague in the JCI Senate. And of course, the ever beautiful 1995 President Cynthia Francisco Timbol, who I had the privilege of working with when Manila and Perlas Pasay were very active in the 90s, no? And then we, of course, we have 2000 President Meldy Baldovino, 2009 President Leiden Pedriña, who incidentally celebrated her birthday yesterday. So happy birthday again. 2012 President Smile Checa Giligin. 2011 President Sharky Silverio. 2015 President Attorney Magia Gallego Bambo. And I guess I also see here 2016 President Cecil Apad, 2017 President Bea Soler, 2018, of course, President Mafe Pastor Pide. And I feel like being transported back into nostalgia as I recalled my JCI days when I was still a regular member. And the presidents whom I have the honor of supporting in JCI Perlas Pasay. Now, I am incredibly honored to accept this invitation, which I understand is part of your Women Empowerment program through my JCI Journey or my JCI story. And in this regard, I'm most delighted to share my JCI journey to all of you. So let me just say that in the many, many years of rendering talks and trainings for JCI, this is one of the very few times that I'm asked to share my personal JCI story, in a formal training session such as this. So even before I begin, allow me to thank you for being making me being part of what I consider to be one of my most memorable sessions that I will conduct. So that said, do allow me to share my screen to all of you. Okay, can you see my screen? Thumbs up if you see my screen. Great, great. Thank you very much. Now, well, before I begin, I would like to confess to all of you that I have some conflicted feelings about accepting this invitation to share my JCI experience. My initial response, of course, was a sense of excitement, a very strong notion at participating at, well, the young and dynamic JCI leaders of Perlas Pasay. Indeed, your commitment to be the catalysts for positive change, gives me immense hope for the future of our country will be bright under the leadership of young and dynamic lady leaders like you. My second response, however, was not so happy. I was quite apprehensive about having to figure out something to say to most of you, especially when I'm speaking to a multi-awarded chapter like JCI Perlas Pasay, which has long endured a long reputation, long and storied reputation of excellence. Not only recognized in the Philippines, but also in the world. I recall during the World Congress or the Asia Pacific Conference, the name JCI Perlas Pasay and your outstanding leaders have always been called to the stage because they win the outstanding chapter, outstanding chapter president, outstanding most outstanding member, etc., etc. So when it comes to awards, JCI Perlas Pasay is always the first in line. So your local organization's contribution to JCI are as immense as they are illustrious. So in stark contrast, I, on the other hand, can be deemed what many would probably call just a happy member. I was not that fortunate to be given an opportunity to lead as a JCI local president in the regular, much less served as an elected officer of JCI Philippines. And since I have not assumed any elective position of JCI of far-reaching repute, such as some of our past presidents here in this virtual room, I feel that my contributions greatly pale in comparison to them. So, but then, since this session is about the journey of a happy member like me, I believe I will just fit right in. So that said, do lower your expectations on my presentation as I share with you my 30-year journey in JCI. Okay? So first, let me predicate my talk by addressing the new JCI members in this virtual audience who are yet unsure of what they're getting into. I felt the same way as you did, no? How many of you have waited until you really knew everything you needed to know about JCI before you started something? How many of you were actually reluctant to start until you could learn a little more about the organization that is JCI? Well, many of us actually don't. No? Oftentimes we get tricked into attending a business seminar or meeting with new friends, only to find ourselves filling up an application form. Parang network marketing ang peg, no? But then again, our JCI journey is similar to a staircase that you see in your screen right now. No, it leads to a destination that we have yet to see. Now, faith should lead us into taking that first step with a faith that the rest of the staircase is there, and we will be able to get to our destination, no? If we only manage to keep taking step after step. Now, as we take each step, the next step becomes the first step in the rest of the staircase, right? So in this manner, we can continue making progress as long as we have faith that there will be another step waiting for us when we finish taking this step. Now, JCI is a process-oriented organization, no? And the staircase that I've just shown to you is a very apt metaphor. Each step could be a step in a process. So whether we will be climbing the steps of our JCI career or another step in developing our own personal skills, we will learn to place our faith in the presence of a next stair. You know? We will eventually get to our destination. Now, my JCI journey actually began here, no? In the hallowed halls of JCI Quezon City Capital Headquarters. But before you assume that I was a Capital JCI member before I became a JCI Manila member, let me explain it to you a little bit more clearly. You see, long before I was able to talk coherently and walk on my own 2 feet, I was already introduced to the JCI movement by my parents, no? Who at that time were active members. My dad was a JCI member and my mom was a JCRET. No? It was an archaic term they used to call for spouses of male JCI members because there were no lady JCI members at that time. Much like JCI Perlas Pasay, an all-female chapter, at that time, there were no all-female chapters, or there were no JCI members who were female. Okay. Now, during my growing up years, my dad would often bring our family to a fellowship activity organized by the JCI Quezon City Capital. These were usually out-of-town trips when they were entertaining visiting sister chapters from JCI Chiba of Japan or JCI Taipei of Taiwan. So this is our family photo during one of these JCI trips in Burnham Park in Baguio City. And just to make sure you recognize me in the photo, I am this portly, bespectacled kid over here. Ayan. Okay. Now, my dad joined JCI Quezon City Capital, no, way back in 1969, no, way long before you were born. When the reputation of the chapter at that time was the chapter with a legend. Yan. It was still at its peak, no? So there, my dad quickly established himself as a member whom colleagues could easily depend on for anything. Now, because of his extremely affable, light-hearted nature, he was not wanting of friends. In fact, he developed a lifelong cadre of close comrades and associates in the persons of Dave Chonsu, Mariano Lau, Ernie Pilares, Roy Odsinada, Greg Tanlimco, Rudy Romulo, John Ko, Art Jurbito, Johnny Chu, Ernie C, Parpataksil, June Roque, Louis Ablaze. I can mention a lot of names. Donnie Pangilinan, Manny Zabalza, Greg Tumangan, Chichos Luciano, and John Bautista, among many others. No? And this is him in the photo. No? So during the time of JCI Quezon City Capital President Charlie Reyes in 1972, my dad headed a major fundraising project called Promises, Promises. Now, it's a ballet gala performance starring Julie Barredo Borromeo at the Cultural Center of the Philippines. So this is my dad beside Charlie, no? President Charlie. So I remember him calling up friends and relatives to sell tickets for about a month, going out of the house after work for chapter committee meetings and coming home in the wee hours of the morning. Sometimes or oftentimes exhausted and spent, no? Often to the disappointment of my mother, who wasn't used to all these late night meetings. Now, but his hard work eventually paid off. He was able to raise some 80,000 pesos, which was a princely sum during that time in 1972, making this project very financially rewarding for the chapter. Now, for his efforts, he was awarded the committee chairman of the second quarter that year. Now, with his soaring reputation in Capitol, he could have easily won a seat in the following year's board. However, being one to shun any sorts of titles, honorifics, or pretensions, my dad adamantly refused to take part in any elective role in his chapter. I remember when I was a kid, one time I went to the office, there was this bunch of guys trying to plead with him to run under their board, no? But my dad, no, was just being content, being a happy member. So he did not accede to their request. And my dad never became a board member, much less a president of Capitol. So, but my dad's Capitol friends would not want to let a good man pass, no? Without him suspecting anything, they conferred on him Junior Chamber's highest award, the JCI Senatorship, during the 1978 JCI World Congress in Manila. So he was awarded Senator number 36445. I can still remember that number. Okay. Now, I probably inherited my dad's sense of modesty when I had my own JCI moment. Fast forward to 1991, 22 years after my dad signed up in the JCI movement, a gym buddy of mine by the name of Warren So, who happens to be an officer of JCI Manila at that time, invited me to attend an orientation seminar. Now, despite the tacit approval of my dad, I entered the organization without absolutely knowing what the organization was all about. After being asked to fill up an application form and listening to a series of speakers on the evening of November 12, 1991, I attended my very first general membership meeting on November 19, 1991. I recall then Philippine Senator and JCI Senator Juan Ponce Enrile as our guest speaker. And of course, that's me with the infamous Baby JC bib together with my Baby JC group. So I was officially inducted as a Baby JC that afternoon. And my journey in JCI had finally begun. Now, together with my Baby JC group, we launched our project entitled Oplan Kulay Tulay. No? That was way back in 1992, on August actually. No? It was a very ambitious project that involved the repainting of all three major vehicular underpasses within the city of Manila. At that time, those underpasses were never painted. No? So I had the initiative of saying, since we are in the paint business, why don't we contribute and paint all these three underpasses? And what are the three underpasses that I'm talking about? We have the Lagusnilad, no? Underpass, the Lerma Andalusia underpass, and the Recto Quezon Avenue underpass. So while we signed a joint memorandum of agreement with the city government of Manila, then under the late Mayor Emiliano Mel Lopez Jr. on January 24, 1992, the project did not commence until August 6, no? Almost 9 to 10 months, no, of that year, due to the lack of sponsors, no, because they were not, you know, it was not an easy project to say the least, no. For three underpasses, we had to paint a cumulative area equivalent to 3 10-story buildings. So funds were difficult to source, and potential corporate sponsors could not see a viable market value for this type of project. So Needless to say, my first baby JC project was a disastrous endeavor. No? To put it bluntly, the club president at that time, Eros Cao, had been rushing our group to advance the painting supplies in order to commence the project before his term ended in 2 months. No? So nobody wanted to shell out their own money, at least among our baby JC group. So what did I do? I did the most noble thing. I decided to advance the project cost myself. Now, the MMDA, or the Metropolitan Manila Authority under the late Robert Nasanciano, who is also a JCI Manila senator and a past director, volunteered to commandeer their field personnel as painters. But what made matters worse was when, after finally securing the funds to purchase that initial batch of paints to be used, the painters were asked to rush the project despite doing it on a rainy season. So a heavy downpour that evening completely ruined the initial coat of paint used that morning, prompting another round of fundraising efforts to replace the initial batch of paints that was washed away, which further delayed the project. At about that time, the project was already running for almost a year with no end in sight. 4 out of our 5 members in that baby JC group had grown weary and decided not to pursue their membership, leaving me to finish the job alone. And by that time, the project was painstakingly completed on June of the following year by yours truly. A new set of officers were already running the chapter. They did not allow me to be inducted as a regular member, despite the fact that I had finished the project after 2 years, since I had completed the project without a group. So they asked me to do another project, with a new set of baby JCs. Now, upon hearing this, I was so utterly disappointed and was really bent on quitting, had the new president, by the name of Cecilio Pedro, not pulled me aside and took pity on me. He said he is organizing this modest project for the Philippine School for the Blind, which he will sponsor the repair of 30 Braille typewriters. He simply asked me to show up there, provide a banner, yung usual photo op tarp, and that will be my second project. Needless to say, had it not been for Papa Says, I would not be talking to you at all today. Okay. Now, curiously, there seemed to be a silver lining in all this. The Oplan Kulay Tulay project surprisingly won the Best Civic Involvement in Project Award at the 1993 JCI Asia Pacific Conference in Taipei, Taiwan. It was my auspicious end to cap my colorful baby JC experience. Ayan. So for all of you who still do not know, Reggie Yu was a baby JC for 2 years and almost quit the JCI movement, and until these fortuitous events have come and saved my JCI career. Now, my early years with JCI Manila was punctuated primarily by simply supporting many of its flagship projects. I have been co-chairman of the Mother Teresa Humanitarian Awards Committee, and I annually assisted the annual Handog Linga project, and I also co-chaired the now defunct Aurelio Periqueta Business Leadership Awards Committee, and I played a key role in the establishment of the annual Patrol 117 Heroes Award, among many others. But I guess what I am most remembered for was our JCI local organizations publications, a reputation as an editor and writer that would carry with me not only for the rest of my JCI career, but to some extent until today. So it was again my sponsor, Warren So, who invited me to assist him in the publications committee. So as he was appointed committee chairman in 1993, Perhaps knowing that I served as editor-in-chief of my high school and college yearbooks, he immediately got me as his associate editor. No? We decided to name our club publication the Manila JC's Herald. A catchy name that means the messenger. Ayan. Now, this is the maiden issue that you see here. That was the maiden issue that I helped publish in 1993. So surprisingly, it won the most outstanding local publication award during the JCI Asia Pacific Conference in Taipei, Taiwan that same year. Okay, so when Warren was elected to the board as director for the local organization management the following year, he appointed me as publications chairman. It was a role that I assumed continuously for 7 years since. Over the years, I constantly and consciously tried to improve the look and the content of our chapter publications. As you can see here, the Herald has evolved from a 2-color, 8-page newsletter to a full-color, 42-page quarterly magazine that showcased the best of JCI Manila. And in 1999, I decided to complement the Herald. By that time, has already evolved into an external publication intended for the public, for public reading. No? So we came up with an internal publications called the Asian Pearl Journal. That's a 12-page monthly publication which focused on the chapter's news and project announcements that came out every GMM. Okay, so by this time, the publications committee had already attracted a sizable attention. No? From a one-man endeavor, meaning me, the committee was staffed with some of the more prolific writers to be part of its editorial board. Now, this is a photo of me and our committee taken during a meeting at the Kamayan restaurant sometime in 1999. The board consisted of former Senate President Coco Pimentel, Attorney Kenneth Benedicto, who served as JCI Manila President in 1996, and 2 young recruits, Gerard Azada and Ryan Anthony C., both of whom would eventually assume the role of publications chairman in the succeeding years. So throughout my 7-year tour of duty as publications chairman and editor-in-chief of our chapter news organ, JCI Manila has had the distinction of winning the best local organization publication award category in the AreaCon, in the NatCon, and the ASPAC conference from 1993 to 1999. And it achieved for the first time in the history of our chapter the best LO publication of the world award, no, during the JCI World Congress in Manila, where we hosted, no, in 1998, and the following year in Cannes, France, in 1999. So it has never been duplicated since. No? Now, the editorship of the Herald may have cemented my legacy with our chapter, but it was my authorship of JCI Manila's coffee table book, the first and only such publication written about a JCI local organization in the world, which, in my opinion, had put me in a special place within the Philippine JCI movement. Now, the idea of coming out with a coffee table book was a dream that percolated in my mind as early as 1996, no? When, as publications chairman, I had the privilege of interviewing many of our past presidents, no? And luminaries as part of my continuing series on them in my monthly issues of the Herald. So during these interviews, I was in awe of many of their stories that had put a collective swirl of JCI Manila's rich canvas of history. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful to preserve and curate all these stories into a continuing saga for future generations of JCI members? So I brought this up several times in previous JCI Manila administrations, but, well, probably because of its daunting task, it was deemed impossible, so they had to drop the idea. But it was only through the collective will of incoming President Felix Ang and his board that made this possible. Now, having assured me of an adequate budget, they promised support for as long as I can get the book completed in time for the 50th anniversary celebration on September 22, 1998. A good 10 months from that time when I proposed the project. Well, I accepted the challenge and proceeded to work on this daunting task. And it was indeed daunting. I had intended to make the work easier by dividing this task into 5 chapters, 1 chapter per decade, and had originally assigned 4 past presidents who were known for their prolific writing to handle one chapter each, while I took the task of handling the chapter that dealt with the origin story. Now, a month before the scheduled deadline for printing, however, I had discovered to my great horror that none of them had started doing anything, and all of them just shrugged their shoulders and said they couldn't do it. Now, instead of pointing fingers, I had just taken it upon myself to complete the entire manuscript all by my lonesome. I remember working 16-hour days, 7 days a week, missing meals, making last-minute interviews, and fact-checking data with the ones available at that time. So, by the grace of God, I was able to deliver, but only barely. So, on the day of the actual event, it was a very formal event on September 22, 1998, where more than 400 people were expected to attend, including top government officials as well as JCI national and international officers. The printing staff was still furiously stitching together the 300 pages for that first batch of 50 copies. And the said copies arrived literally in the nick of time, just minutes before the program started at 7 p.m. We were not able to finish the projected 350 copies to the disdain of President Felix Ang, but at least it did arrive, and I did not arrive there empty-handed. So during the official launching of the book, our charter president, Ambassador Ramon del Rosario, RVR, who happens to be also the charter national president of JCI Philippines, personally congratulated me, and that began what was to be a close personal friendship between me and Ambassador del Rosario. The launch was also graced by JCI Philippines National President, JV Ejercito, at that time. Kita mo, batang-bata pa itsura. And our incoming and outgoing chapter presidents, Felix Ang and Philip Ko Jr. Okay? So, from my first years of my JCI journey, this is actually the culmination of my work. The coffee table book, Forging Vanguards, this is actually distributed. 1,000 copies have been printed, and of course, after that, it has been used as in lieu of a plaque of appreciation to our guest speakers every GMM. Instead of just giving them only a plaque of appreciation, we hand them a free copy of the Forging Vanguard. So to remember us by. In fact, I remember Senator Rene Sagisag, to my surprise, when he was our guest speaker, when he received a copy of the Forging Vanguards, the very next day in his Enquirer column, acknowledged me and took a trip down memory lane, because many of his contemporaries in JCI were former alumni of San Beda. So I still have that article with me. So from my first years in my JCI journey, I learned 2 key takeaways from my experience. Okay, and what are those key takeaways? Well, first, be open to new challenges. JCI is a learning organization as much as it is a leadership development organization. I embraced any project that was thrown in my way because early on I realized that every hard job was an opportunity for me to learn new things. And not only in terms of skill, but also in terms of handling people. So today, I can confidently declare that I can actually open my own printing and publishing business because of the learnings I got from my 7 years experience as chairman of the Publications Committee. Now, when you participate in a project with no monetary reward, the energy you produce is on another level compared with a normal 9-to-5 job. It's as if the box of limiting beliefs holding you back becomes smaller and you dare to try out new things. No? So I believe that new experiences are the best way to develop yourself. And I also think you get more creative and imaginative mindsets by being active in JCI. Now, second, learning is to be prepared. No? Be prepared to do the hard work yourself. In fact, be prepared to do everything yourself. Always rise up to any challenge with a smile on your face. If something is not to the expected standard, then you just have to deal with it. Remember the 4 past presidents who suddenly bailed out on me the last minute for the coffee table book? Instead of wasting my time ranting, pointing fingers, I immediately got to work. I treated this issue like a challenge that I had to overcome. In fact, I probably even have to thank them because I didn't have to worry about having them share the credit with the book's authorship. Okay? Now, I had intended to spend the rest of my entire JCI career as a happy member, as I'd already proven myself capable of doing the most difficult tasks. So like my father before me, I had persistently refused offers to rise to the chapter's leadership ladder, as it meant more work that had already taken much of my time away from my real work in the office and, of course, my family time. But I guess when opportunity knocks on your door, it is really difficult to resist going through the experience of being an elected official of JCI Manila. After all, it is not every day that a presidential aspirant whom you respect would invite you to his leadership team. So my first foray at leadership in the local level was working as a director for local organization management, or director for law management, as we used to call it, for the fiscal year 1999 to 2000. Now, as soon as our board was inducted on September 22, 1999, at the Century Park Sheraton Hotel, no? Here I am, no? Doing a thumbs up sign with our guest speaker, former President Fidel Ramos. I immediately got to work, no? Under the presidency of Gelson Yang, I steadfastly took charge of the meetings chaired by Toto Villavicencio and the late Marfred Pranada. I took charge of the attendance committee chaired by Gilbert Go, the publications committee chaired by Gerard Asada, and the webpage committee chaired by Virtual Asia. At that time, it was the first commercial service provider offering internet services. No? And the owner is a Taiwanese Canadian by the name of Bobby Wen. And I had him as, well, very aptly, as a member of the webpage committee. Now, we began the practice of monitoring members who did not attend the last general membership meetings and writing "We missed you" letters to them via fax and snail mail. At that time, that was the only available communication. No? So because of this, we were able to ensure good membership participation and attendance with our GMMs. We came up with 4 issues of the Herald and 12 issues of the Asian Pearl Journal. And we set up our first ever official webpage of JCI Manila in the World Wide Web. Now, I guess I must have done a pretty good job with my first directorial stint, that I was again invited to serve the board, no, the following year. No? So one of the reasons I accepted was because the standard bearer, si Joy Luna, Joseph Joy Luna, was a good friend of mine, and my new portfolio was that of executive treasurer, which was a relatively easier job for me than the director level. No? So although the achievements of a chapter cannot be measured in currency, little can be accomplished without adequate financing. And this will not be available without a disciplined finance program, which was my role that year. And again, that's me. Now I get to sit on the front row because I'm now part of the executive committee. Now, never did I realize that I got more than what I bargained for. Majority of our board were unsatisfied with the president's leadership, and I had to play a whole lot of different roles other than just being a caretaker of the chapter's funds. No? I had to act as moderator, counselor, advisor, cheerleader, and dakilang alalay to many of the president's projects since no one wanted to support him. There was even talk of impeachment, but cooler heads at that time prevailed. All in all, it was a tumultuous term that year, no? Which was exacerbated by the Twin Tower attacks on the World Trade Center on 9/11. No? So, but we were able to get through. I was again asked to serve on the board the following year under President Joel Nunez, but I had to respectfully decline already. No? So for the first time, I really felt burned out after a very stressful year that has just passed. No? Now, I came back on the JCI Manila board in the year 2003. No? After I finally gave in to the incessant pleas of a good friend, no, Oji Mamurik, who wanted to run for chapter president. Now, this time, I took on the role of Secretary General, the chapter's chief operating officer. No? So apart from supporting the president, I am tasked with the major responsibility of chapter administration. So by this very responsibility and the potential for performance in the position, I considered it one of the most rewarding years in my JCI journey. And of course, that's me. And this was to be the third and final time I would sit on the Manila JC board for life. Okay, so I gave it my all. So as chapter secretary, I ensured that the Ermita headquarters was running smoothly and our three-man secretariat happy by increasing their salaries and bonuses. I kept a clean and complete record of the agenda and the minutes of the board. I was witness to a few very heated disagreements among our board members, but this was kept within the four walls of the boardroom. It was the first time that we released, for the first time, quarterly reports that were sent to all the members in good standing, past presidents and JCI senators via courier, which was produced similarly to the quality to the ones we find in formal corporate annual reports. So it was a very memorable term. Not only we not only scored awards, top awards for the chapter in the area and the national conventions, we also gathered for the first time the top spot in the JCI Philippines Efficiency Ranking, or JCI PEA. No? It's a feat that was never duplicated since under my term as Secretary General of the chapter. Moreover, it earned President Oji the Most Outstanding JCI Local President of the World Award at the JCI World Congress in Sapporo, Japan. It was also at the same Congress that I won the Most Outstanding JCI Member of the World Award. Now, for your information, it was immediately after this term that the pressure for me to run for JCI Local President of JCI Manila was at its most intense. The election was for the next set of officers was actually delayed for 3 weeks because they had to wait for my decision whether I'll be running or not. However, after deep consultation with my parents, who gave me a thumbs down, considering I was already being trained to take over our family business, I had to respectfully decline. So after years of reflection, you know what? It turned out that it was a decision that I had come to regret for the rest of my life. Okay. Now, during my 3 terms as a local organization officer, I have learned, again, 2 key takeaways that I will be sharing with you. Okay. First, leadership is an opportunity. Seize it. For those people who might be anxious that they will not be able to do a good job, let me tell you that leadership skills are something that we can develop or ignore here in JCI. Leadership starts with you, and then you learn from the people around you. JCI projects provide members with hundreds and hundreds of leadership lessons every day, if not every week, or every hour. When members of your team are committed with both their hearts and their minds, the results will leave you with a great feeling of satisfaction that no money in the world will be able to satisfy. I have seen firsthand the effort of good leadership and not so good leadership in the 3 administrations which I was a part of. Now, my second learning here was I have learned that part of being a good leader is finding good people and letting them do what they need to do. I feel that terms like setting expectations are not in the interest of positive and supportive leadership. Instead, team members should own their roles, no, and responsibilities. And then you, as a leader, help them make it a reality. This role is nurturing and should be very supportive, no, not pressure-filled. You may be in the driver's seat, but compassion is your biggest asset in making this vision a reality. This was a lesson I learned that still is an effective method that I apply to the other organizations that I led, not just JCI. Now, working for JCI Philippines has been an incredible opportunity for me to learn more about the dynamics of our national organization. Now, both fueled out of curiosity and the passion to explore JCI life outside of the 4 corners of our local organization or our chapter, I readily accepted the invitation to already play major roles in the implementation of 2 national flagship programs, no, during my first year with JCI Philippines. And what are those? Well, from the year 1999 to the year 2000, I was at the center of 2 of JCI Philippines' national flagship projects. No? First is the Outstanding Young Men Awards, or TOYM. And secondly, the Outstanding Policeman of the Philippines Awards, or TOPP. Now, for the TOYM, I served as Deputy National Chairman, no? Alongside National Chairman Jean Fernando from JCI Makati, as his assistant from logistics to crafting executive summaries of the winners. And of course, I had the privilege of serving as an MC during the awarding ceremonies, no less than in Malacanang itself with, as you can see in this picture, President Joseph Ejercito Estrada. For the TOPP, I was assigned the post of Secretary General of National Chairman Felix Ang. No? After his term as president, he then was appointed as the TOPP National Chairman, and he got me as his National Secretary General for that project. And what did I do? I helped arrange meeting appointments, writing correspondences in his behalf, assisting logistical concerns of his committee. And again, I served as the Master of Ceremonies at the awarding at Malacanang Palace with, President Joseph Estrada. Now, when my good friend, Boydy Dizon, was elected national president in the year 2000, he tapped me to head the national publications portfolio, knowing that I was able to catapult our local organization to greater heights, no, in JCI Manila. His marching orders to me were to raise the standards of the Leader magazine, similar to what I did for the Herald in JCI Manila. Now, the Leader magazine is, as you may know, is the national publications arm, no, of JCI Philippines. So, like a good soldier, I quickly assembled the best of the lot from friends whom I have previously worked with in the metro area to serve as my editorial board. And as you can see in that photo, all of them became local organization presidents except me. Okay, so we elevated the design visuals, we upgraded it to a full color magazine, and tapped prominent JCI regulars and JCI senators to contribute to bringing the national official publication to world-class standards. So during that year, we produced 4 full-colored quarterly issues of the Leader magazine and 12 monthly issues of the Leader newsletter. Now, to expand our reach even further, we even incorporated a digital version in the JCI Philippines website. Yeah. So during the 2000 JCI World Congress in Osaka, Japan, I was able to deliver the promise I gave to NP Boydi. The Leader magazine bested 100 other national publications to clinch the best non-publication of the world award, no? In this category, won by JCI Philippines. Okay, and that is the award we won at the Sapporo World Congress in the year 2000. No? So it was the first award won by JCI Philippines under this category since its founding in 1949. Okay, so that it was a legacy. Okay, so, but you know, perhaps my most challenging role in the national organization was yet to come. In 2002, I was invited by incoming national president Mabel Villarica Mamba, the first lady president of JCI Philippines, to assume the role of National Secretary General. I remember telling her to give me a week to think about it, as the position entailed a huge responsibility which I may not be able to deliver. But she expressed great faith that I will be able to exceed her expectations, and, aware of my limitations in mobility at that time, assured me that I shall not be expected to travel and shadow the national president because that was her job as national president. My job, she said, was to be a good chief administrative officer of JCI Philippines headquarters. So, after much cajoling from my friends, no, former National Secretary General Rina Bautista, past National President Boydi Dizon, among them, well, I was convinced to give it a try. No? So, I was officially sworn in on a Monday, January 8, 2002, by NP Mabel herself, with an official appointment letter which was actually antedated on October 18, 2001. So the date where, without any inkling of my appointment yet, already picked me out of a short-listed roster of qualified candidates. So, you know, it was very presumptuous of them to do that I will accept, but, you know, it's a good thing I did not let them down. Okay, so as I had expected, the position entailed considerable commitment with time and resources. Now, apart from doing and performing administrative functions, my golly, I had to also be present in all national board meetings as an ex officio member and ensuring the board minutes were accurately recorded. It was also this time that my hosting skills were honed, as I had to play MC in many national activities such as the NatCon in Naga City. No? So part of my role also as NSG was to conduct regular meetings with the National Secretariat, where I was updated of issues from the 400 affiliated JCI local organizations. It was also during my term as NSG that key national programs such as the Beyond Prison Walls program, which was initially a joint undertaking with Caritas Manila under the leadership of Ambassador Ramon del Rosario, and the Mula sa Poso ni Gloria project. This entailed installing 10,000 water pumps across the country, and this was funded by the national government and executed by JCI Philippines. So, other milestone projects under my watch were also instituted, such as the very first Outstanding Youth Organizations or TAYO Awards, no? Which was a joint initiative with the National Youth Commission, then headed by Bam Aquino. I was part of the board of judges for that very first award search, together with then GMA 7 News anchor Bernadette Sembrano. You can see her here with me. I also established the first JCI Local Secretary Seminar. That was the first time that a seminar exclusively for JCI local secretaries was done, and I believe had become an annual undertaking every NatCon. No? And then we also had a joint project with Philip Morris Philippines during that year, which was the Youth Smoking Prevention Program, which became NP Mabel's flagship project. And finally, the first digital version of the Leader magazine was introduced during the NatCon. And I was privileged to have no less than past NP JV Ejercito, who actually volunteered to be our editor-in-chief. Sabi niya, Reggie, sinuportahan mo ako as national president during my time, then susuportahan kita as NSG. So I'll be your editor-in-chief ng Leader Magazine, ng digital version. Ayan. So despite his very busy schedule as the mayor of San Juan at that time. Okay? So truly, the year 2002 was the year that JCI cares. No? NP Mabel's theme for that term. No? And of course, that's me in that group photo with the national board. Ayan. Okay? Now, perhaps one of the greatest legacies that I have left behind as a member of JCI was my contribution to the National Organizations Training Program. You see, if there is anything that sets JCI apart from any other volunteer organization, it's its training and development component. However, in JCI Philippines, especially in our chapter at that time, I felt that this opportunity was sorely underutilized. While members fight tooth and nail for political offices in the local and national levels in JCI, often vying for titles, positions, prestige, most forget that the essence of JCI lies in its training component. Many trainers at that time were regarded as second-class citizens na lang. Why second class? Because most of those who ended up as trainers were not successful in the JCI political arena. Yung mga quote-unquote talunan sa mga JCI elections ended up as JCI trainers. Parang yun na lang ang naging tambakan ng mga natalong mga JCI leaders. And while many previous administrations have used training as their overarching goal in their campaign slogans, parati kong naririnig na, if you elect me as NP, I will make training a priority, no? And I've heard that every election campaign. Sadly, most of them have actually only paid lip service. There was a serious dearth of good trainers. Many members were averse to attending sessions because why? They preferred politics and parties during NatCon. If you attend a NatCon National Convention, for instance, for those of you who were able to attend the NatCon, how many of you actually attended trainings? And for those of you who attended trainings, how many actually attend the trainings? No? As compared to people who attend fellowships. Manila Night, no? Mga ganyan. No? Mas exciting yan, hindi ba? So, the national training programs at that time were lackluster at best. Yan, unfortunately. No? So, having immersed myself as a trainer since 2002, and was officially recognized as one in 2004, I sought to change that perception in the best way I could. Okay? So, in 2005, I finally got that chance, no? Quite by accident, as a matter of fact. I was happily prepared to spend the rest of my few remaining years as a regular JCI trainer when I suddenly got a call from one of my JCI Prime coaches, Serwin Eviota, from JCI Cebu Mactan channel, who expressed his preference to me over another candidate actively vying for the position of National Training Commission Chairman. While I never really aspired for this, I saw this as a calling to make a difference in the national training program, so I cheerfully accepted the appointment. So together with my colleagues representing areas 1 to 5, we crafted a dynamic program aimed to raise the profile of JCI training to the farthest reaches of our national organization. So for 1 year, I was the face of JCI Philippines training program, accepting as many training opportunities as my feet and my voice can still muster. So among our milestones, we included the updating of the National Training Commission Policy Manual, the introduction of key official JCI courses such as JCI Achieve, JCI Admin to the national organization. Kami nagparating nun. We conducted 174 trainings and seminars nationwide. We certified 34 new trainers and established a 5-year training development program that will ensure consistency in training policies. Okay, so many of these were considered landmark programs at that time, because nobody has done that before. But a personal milestone, as I was about to formally exit the organization as a JCI regular member in 2007, was my conferment as an International Training Fellow, or ITF. I was ITF number 101 yan, by Junior Chamber International. So it was a historic first for our national organization because I was the first ITF in 25 years for JCI Philippines. So the rank of ITF is actually, for those of you who don't know ITF, kasi wala na yun, the rank of ITF is the highest honor a trainer can receive from Junior Chamber International. So an ITF becomes part of the JCI training design team, tasked in the formulation, the design, and the development of future courses for Junior Chamber International. But unfortunately, JCI eventually scrapped the JCI Trainer Certification Program in 2011, preferring instead to utilize the general membership in rolling out JCI's official courses, as you do today, no? Instead of using seasoned trainers to do that. This, in my personal opinion, has proven disastrous for JCI's training program in the long run. But that's for another seminar, probably for another time, okay? So my years as a JCI member in the regular were marked with a series of new challenges that tested my leadership mettle. Now, my final tour of duty as a regular JCI member was that of my role as a National Records and Recognition Committee Chairman, which was tasked to oversee the overall conduct of the Area Con and the NatCon Awards program. Okay, so in 2006, having heard probably that I was no longer vying for my home local organization, JCI Manila, as president, I was tasked, no, by, or at least I was sought by no less than national president at that time, Ismael Maeng Penado, no, to head the National Awards Commission, then called the National Records and Recognition Commission. Ngayon, I think you call it the NAC, the National Awards Commission. Okay, so by this time, I already had more than 10 years worth of experience in preparing bids and acting as an awards judge. No? So I saw so many issues besetting our awards program at that time. And given so many issues confounding our awards process, the only draconian solution I saw was totally overhauling our award system, setting up a completely new and first ever e-awards software system from scratch, no, and entirely independent from that of JCI, no. And I had to do that. It was self-imposed on my part to do that within the year that the AreaCon and the NatCon awards are going to be done, no? So I only had a few short months to do it from scratch. So working with a single computer programmer familiar with JavaScript, I painstakingly designed the online awards and judging software, making sure that the program was generally bug-free and working properly, no? So after a series of parallel testing and debugging, in just a few short months, 4 months to be exact, we were able to implement the first fully integrated e-awards program for both the simultaneous area conferences and the national convention, or NatCon, that year. Okay, so despite NP Maeng's initial reluctance and opposition to my grand ideas, as a matter of fact, we were at loggerheads most of the time, no, because I had grand plans to make it, to raise the level of the awards quality, no, in our national, and he wouldn't have anything to do with it, no, because nagtitipid siya, he doesn't want to spend, no. I even offered to resign, but since nobody else He could not find anybody else who was willing to implement my plans and programs to the level that I offered. He declined my resignation. No? So, but after that, I was finally able to convince him to streamline that year's award ceremony, beginning with the design of the first ever standardized JCI Philippines statuette, no, to be conferred to all major award winners. This trophy that you see here, which I decided to name as the Temyong Award, derived from the nickname of the late founder of JCI movement in Asia, Artemio Limtuaco Vergel de Dios, which has now become, I believe, an iconic and fitting tribute to his vision in setting up the first JCI local organization in the Philippines and in Asia. This trophy was designed by yours truly and was crafted by then upcoming sculptor Harold G. Dominguez, a junior JC from Baguio. So since then, I understand that the trophy, this is the original trophy that I handed out on the first Temyong Awards. And since then, I understand that the trophy has undergone slight iterations from our original polyurethane-coated natural tangile wood to an Oscar-like shimmering gold tone, as well as a bigger base, no, to place a lengthier citation. No? Of course, I also overhauled the look and feel of the award ceremony that year. Did you know that in the past, award ceremonies at national conventions were not the formal events that we have today? During those times, award ceremonies were represented by very few local organizations. Usually, the more dynamic chapters like JCI Perlas Pasay, JCI Manila, no? And the national officers themselves did not really take them too seriously. As you can see in this photo here, no? Awards were, as you can see in that photo, awards were usually done on makeshift stages with almost little to no optics. And national officers like then NEVP Deku over here were casually dressed in jeans and slippers, no, during the award ceremony. So, as NAC chair, I carried a personal conviction that since a JCI award ceremony is the only time of the year when outstanding individuals and local organizations receive recognition for their year-long worth of hard work and contributions in a room full of their peers, no, they deserve something better. They deserve a level of respect, the kind of respect that is manifested in a slick, glamorous event, no less. So complete with red carpets, a photo wall, a strict entrance requirement that all participants must be donned in formal wear, no, and not their lom shirt. The first Temyong Awards at the Subic Arts Center immediately set the standard for the others to follow. So today, I believe 15 to 16 years after we successfully launched the first Temyong Awards, one truth continues to prevail. The ideal, the sense of mission to serve the good of the community and the nation gives meaning and purpose to being a JCI member and keeps the JCI movement alive. Don't you think so? And this sense of mission is now perpetually represented in the Temyong Trophy that is coveted and prized by all JCI members in our country today. Ayan. So when you say, oh, nanalo ako ng Temyong, alam na nila. When you say Temyong Awards, NatCon Award yan. Hindi ba? So this was my final legacy, which I happily left to our national organization before I said goodbye to my JCI career as I reached the age of 40. Now, working in JCI Philippines gave me additional learnings, no, which I will share with you now. First, accept and respect people for who they are. No? Working in the national organization means working with colleagues with a smorgasbord of varying regional backgrounds and values, which becomes a sensitive balancing act of pursuing a single destination with very different ideas on how to get there. For me, leadership is about making the most out of the team, not the individuals who make it up. If you're going to suggest improvements to people, you can't expect that process to fundamentally change something that has taken years in the making. Like a person, like an adult. Diba? So simply respect their views and figure out how you can all work together despite your differences. Ayan. Second, and more important in my opinion, is to always remember the forgotten values. Here I am with the late Mayor Jesse Robredo, no? When we had a courtesy call with him during the NatCon in Naga, with, of course, NP Mabel, Mamba. Okay, what are those values? No? Many times, we will come across situations that will test our mettle as leaders. More often than not, you will be asked to compromise your values. I remember reading somewhere that management is the process of doing things right, whereas leadership is about doing the right thing. And what is the right thing? Honesty. Always say what you mean and mean what you say. Integrity. Treat all in the same manner as you want to be treated yourself. Humility. Always take none of the praise and all of the blame. And trust. Trust your team completely, and they will trust you in return. These leadership virtues have greatly benefited my leadership development and responsibility as I traversed the sometimes murky waters of JCI Philippines. And I'm sure by applying these forgotten virtues, you will too. Now, quoting Al Pacino's famous line, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in." Now, this sentiment perhaps summed up my participation in the JCI Senate, barely a year after I supposedly left JCI land for good. I was conferred the title of JCI Senator number 61158 in the year 2000, when I was about 33 years old. Curiously, it was just about this time that my late dad received his. And I never expected to be accorded this prestigious title this early on in my JCI career. But it was perhaps my chapter's kind gesture of rewarding me for the various contributions I've made. The late AFP Chief of Staff and Defense Secretary General Angelo Reyes, a Manila JCI Senator himself, had personally handed my JCI Senate certificate and JCI Senate pin. Ayan. So while I was incredibly honored to be bestowed with the title of JCI Senator, my perception of the JCI Senate as an organization was a completely different matter altogether. Having seen firsthand how the JCI Senate operated, or rather not operated, I have come to despise this group of old has-beens. Now, to be completely honest with you, I view the JCI Senate as a do-nothing organization, dominated by old fogies past their prime, still wishing to remain relevant. As I look at the rosters of past presidents and past national presidents of the JCI Senate, one thought always comes into my mind, that most of them were nobodies when they were JCI regular members. Most of them never became chapter president during their regular years. And they were only using the JCI Senate platform to relive their what could have beens. I abhorred the thought of being part of that roster of nobodies because I was a nobody myself. Okay? I even surprised myself when I finally accepted the offer to assume the JCI Manila Senate presidency in 2011, after 5 years of consistently declining the offer. Frankly, I accepted the job rather half-heartedly because I knew it was a consuelo de bobo position. Nobody really took the Senate seriously. That was why the JCI Manila Senate organization had been inactive for quite some time. And They needed a nobody like me to rejuvenate it. Now, this thought notwithstanding, like any other role that I assumed in the past, I took the presidency seriously. I invited some of my closest friends from my regular JCI years to form part of my board, while I extended the same offer to select chapter elders to get a balanced mix of at least 3 generations of JCI senators in my board. So we were officially inducted on January 11, 2011 at the One Esplanade Events Place at the Mall of Asia complex in Pasay City, together with the 63rd Board of Directors of JCI Manila. Again, saling pusa lang kami dyan. But we had to get it over with. Now, as the JCI Senate Manila President, I was faced with a ton of challenges that I never saw it coming upon assuming office. We began with 0 funds, no resources, and worse, a nonchalant, meaning walang pakialam, attitude among JCI senators. Whenever I would propose a project, the general mentality was, tapos na tayo dyan. Dapat sa Senate, happy-happy na lang tayo. Let us not compete with the regular JCs. Ganyan. But despite my initial frustration, I earnestly believed that the Senate can make a difference and can still be relevant. So I adopted the theme, JCI Senate Manila Source, no? Which stood for support, organize, activate, recruit, and strengthen. No? We directed our energies to reactivate an inactive organization for so many years. We added 14 new JCI senators to our distinguished roster of over 200 senators. We began strictly charging membership fees, a move that initially proved unpopular with some senators because it has never been done on that scale. But this initiative gave us ample financial muscle to embark on small yet meaningful undertakings. First, we reconstituted the organization's legal papers that lay dormant for 19 years. We updated our status with the Manila City Hall, the BIR, and the SEC with a brand new name, JCI Senate Manila Incorporated. Next, we partnered with JCI Philippines with many of their projects, such as co-sponsoring the annual Alay Lakad program. Okay, here I am as a co-chairman of the Alay Lakad program with then Alay Lakad chairman, national chairperson, Army Nabablit from JCI Manilena. We also held an ambitious grand reunion of all JCI Manila senators on November 27, 2012 at the 7th High Bar and Boutique Club in BGC, which saw more than 200 JCI senators attending this first ever reunion in 18 years. We also launched the 2011 Father Suarez Golf Cup at the Wakwak Golf and Country Club with the late Father Francisco Suarez, the country's foremost healing priest, as our major fundraiser. No, he was a good personal friend of mine. In fact, he even put an acronym for the word golf. God offers love and forgiveness. Ayan, hindi ko makalimutan yung sinabi niya sa akin. We also partnered with JCI Manila regulars in the launching of the Caltex Driving Change, no? With celebrities Mark Nelson and Crazy Rich Asians lead actor Henry Golding for the poor kids in Smoky Mountain. Of course, I was also a ubiquitous presence in leading activities for our JCI regular members around the country, either as a trainer or a guest speaker or as a host for their various inductions nationwide, no? So for all these efforts, I was awarded the most outstanding JCI Senate local president and our chapter, the most outstanding JCI Senate local organization, no? At the 49th JCI Senate Philippines National Convention in Panglao, Bohol. This was the first award received by JCI Senate Manila since 1993. Ayan. So, okay, ever the masochist that I am, that same year, I also accepted the invitation to chair the JCI Senate Philippines flagship project, the Outstanding Filipino Awards, or TOEFL. No? Despite the award being 24 years old already, it did not have that level of public awareness and prestige it deserved, and was still largely unheard of in the general public consciousness, unlike that of its junior counterpart, the TOYM. So to increase public awareness, what we did was we made 15 radio speeches, 7 television appearances, spoke in 3 major media forums, and registered at least 24 radio media plugs in both the FM and AM stations. And finally, to successfully raise the award's prominence in the national levels, I had to pull strings to be able to have the award done in Malacanang, no? By no less than then Philippine President, the late Noynoy Aquino. So for this reason, we were able to secure Malacanang as an awards venue, with the late President Benigno Aquino III as our guest speaker. And it was the first time that the TOEFL Awards were held in Malacanang in its 24-year history. So, if we're going to sum it up, no, I can sum up this TOEFL Awards experience something to the old Filipino adage which says, kung anong tawag dito? Kung gusto may paraan, kung ayaw maraming dahilan. Parang ganyan, no? Something to that effect. Okay? So because of my work in TOEFL, as well as my other contributions to the organization, I was elected to the National Board of JCI Senate Philippines, not once, but twice. No? Now, the first was in 2012, when I was asked to serve as National Treasurer. I was inducted together with my other Philippine JCI Senate colleagues at the 45th induction ceremonies on December 17, 2011, at the Megayon stage of the Provincial Government Center in Daop, Pagadian City. And that's me, no? There, as part of the National Board, flanking the National President, Tony Ceriles, who was the incumbent governor of Zamboanga del Sur at that time. My second tour of duty was in 2019, when I could not say no naman to my dad's contemporary in the JCI Quezon City Capitol, no? When he invited me to be part of his national board. So I was inducted as a national director during the 50th induction ceremonies on January 26, 2019 at the Rizal Park Hotel in the city of Manila. That's me at the back of the photo, no? So the national president at that time was Domingo Jun Roque. He is a billionaire businessman involved in real estate development and printing, and he was installed as our national president. Now, what has my experience in the JCI Senate taught me? Again, 2 things. The first is to always adopt a positive mindset and to avoid negativity. For the JCI senators here, we've all been there. Most of the people in the Senate are all talk and no action. They criticize you for the job you've done, never compliment you for your efforts, and love to take up the credit if the project is successful. I remember making a casual remark about TOEFL not being as well known as TOYM, and one old and grumpy past national president took offense, stood up, walked out of that meeting, and told me off in front of our corporate sponsor, Insular Life. No? Later, I soon found out that he called our national president, our incumbent national president, to have me taken out of the chairmanship. Now, many times, we've all been at the wrong side of the blame game. Whether it's justified or not, doesn't matter. It makes us feel rubbish for the moment. No? We're pissed at the moment. No? And we rarely learn our lesson. It's also disheartening and without a supportive and constructive environment. Underperformance cannot be nurtured under that environment. So let me remind you all that negativity is poison in JCI. We are all volunteers here. Anything done or said in a negative manner can be the difference, no? Can spell the difference between causing friction within a team or to losing a virtual member, a vital member. And you would never take that risk with a team that you respect. So any feedback, in other words, must be positive. Any discussion or debate must be the same, leading to a positive, unifying objective. Second is to be honest with yourself. Along with respecting the shortcomings of your team and embracing them, you should also hold yourself in the same regard. This manifests itself in being honest with your own shortcomings and communicating that shortcoming with your team. If I am the leader, I don't resort to blaming others for the team's failures. I am the leader, and the buck should always stop with me. And finally, probably the most important part of being in JCI is applying everything you have learned outside of JCI. Otherwise, all the time, the resources, and the effort invested in this organization will be useless. Because in JCI, you are trained to become the best version of yourself. In this regard, while you are still in JCI, take advantage of all its opportunities. No matter how hard and daunting it may seem at first, believe me, you will thank me for it soon. Think of it as a gym. No? You pay the membership fee, you train hard, and you'll see the results. The benefits will show in time, not immediately, but in time. And it's not just for yourself. It's also for the people around you. And maybe the community at large will benefit from it. So, to this end, whatever accolades or positions I may have received from the organizations that I have led after my JCI journey, I credit it all from the lessons I learned from JCI. So, whether it'll be in the Anvil Business Club, where I served as president, or in the Alumni Association of Xavier School, where I served as president, or in the Rotary Club of Manila, where I was elected as club secretary and now as vice president. The same principles of committed servant leadership that I learned from JCI were observed and practiced. You know, I remember one lady national president of JCI Philippines asking me what my leadership secret was in making the organizations I led very successful. Well, I told her that there was no leadership secret. Everything I did, I just learned from JCI with one big difference. It was leadership without the politics. This same principle of leadership is what I continue to practice in the many organizations I am affiliated with, whether that be in the Philippine Hardware Foundation, the Philippine Association of Management Accountants, the Manila Downtown Wise Men's Club, the Philippine Institute of CPAs, the Toastmasters Club, or the UP College of Business Administration Alumni Association, or even the Philippine Association of Paint Manufacturers, where I was just elected vice president. To you, I hereby declare with full confidence and with all humility that the leadership training that I received from JCI works. The JCI system works. The skills development that I garnered from JCI works. All you need to do is to learn as much as you can from it. Now, having reached this stage of my life and my career, going from a middle-aged man to a senior citizen in just a few more years, two key takeaways I received are these. First, learn. And you can only learn from doing, not from barking orders. Volunteer to be part of committees. Accept assignments that you deem it challenging. Embrace opportunities, that even if these will fall outside of your comfort zone. I always tell my JCI contemporaries, don't be a Batman. Bakit Batman? Because when you are asked to assume a role, never say, "Ba't ako? Ba't ako?" Never say, why me? Instead, say, why not me? Then, just like a university where you've learned everything you think needs to be learned, learn to let go when the occasion calls for it. In JCI, you are no longer a member when you reach your 41st birthday, whether you like it or not. But sometimes many seem to enjoy their time with JCI so much that they refuse to let go. How many of you have encountered past officers and even presidents who, despite the end of their terms, continue to lord it over as advisors, consultants, elders, who are possessed with a tenacious entitlement mentality, acting as if he or she owns the organization? Sadly, there are still many who are possessed with this disease. More than COVID-19, this is an insidious disease because they cannot accept this fact and refuse to let go. Remember, our time in JCI is limited. We are mere trustees for 1 year. Don't let the entitlement you enjoyed when you were president go to your head. Make the most out of the opportunity given to you while you're president or while you're there in JCI. And when your time has come to go, cut and cut cleanly. Even if I never assumed the presidency of JCI Manila or never even became national president of JCI Philippines, much less world president of JCI Philippines, I am fully convinced that I was able to make the most out of my JCI journey. In fact, I would like to believe that I got much more than what some of our JCI local presidents or even national presidents even aspired for. I was able to meet many important people from both sides of the political spectrum. As you can see here, I continue to gain an innumerable number of friends like you, and my learning has never stopped to this day. So, that said, I advise you to just work and accept everything that goes into your way and make the most out of it. Under promise, but over deliver. As I said, things will pan out in the end. See? So, again, I told you, I was able to meet many important people, even from both sides of the political spectrum. Okay? And the third learning is that, let's all be happy and move on. We all have our personal frustrations. For some, it was a project that failed. For others, it was a missed opportunity to be local or national president. For the rest, it could have been an award that was given to somebody else they deemed less deserving. Whatever they are just part and parcel of our learning journey. Remember, JCI is just like a university. It was only a place to learn, to make lifelong friends, and to grow. The positions, honorifics, and titles you have accumulated in JCI are, well, they're meaningless in the outside world. They are probably as valuable as, say, remembering who your student council president in high school was, or similar to the sports and academic awards that you earned from school. They are just nice to haves. What's most important is what you've learned from JCI that has made you the better person that you are today. At this stage of my life, I have learned the value of appreciating the blessings that really matter, like my health, my friends, my work, my family, as you can see here. So, throughout my talk in this 1.5 hours, I have offered you 10 key takeaways already that I have learned at every stage of my JCI journey. Do take a moment to reflect on these lessons as you traverse your own JCI journey. As I was just a new member of JCI, I learned to first be open to new challenges. And second, to be prepared to do the hard work yourself. Probably do everything yourself. As I later took on a board role in my national organization, in my local organization, I have learned that number 3, leadership is an opportunity. Seize it, because it will never come back to you. Fourth is to find good people to work with you. As my responsibilities eventually elevated to our national organization, I have learned to, fifth, accept and respect people. And sixth, remember the forgotten values: humility, integrity, honesty. When I became active in the JCI Senate after my graduation from my regular JCI organization and faced a different set of leadership dynamics, I learned to, number 7, be positive and avoid negativity. And number 8, be honest with yourself. And finally, during my post-JCI life, I reflected upon 2 key virtues. These are, number 9, learn, learn, and learn, and let go. And number 10, be happy and move on. As I conclude my talk for this evening, ladies, let me leave you with some words of wisdom from Dr. Debashish Midra. He's an Indian-American physician, philosopher, and author who said that life is a daring adventure towards an unknown future. Its beauty depends on how much you enjoy the journey. Take some time to stop and smell the roses in your JCI journey. Build new friendships, do projects, experiment, get good mentors, push yourself beyond the comfort zone. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Get to know yourself. And most importantly, enjoy. So do enjoy your JCI journey, my friends. And who knows, as you traverse this road, we might even bump into each other one of these days and share war stories. Once again, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and a little of your precious time this evening to speak with you. I would like to again thank President Joy for inviting me to be with you all. So do continue to raise the JCI flag by being better. Let's be better. Again, maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat. Mabuhay po ang inyong Women Empowerment Program. Mabuhay JCI Perlas Pasay. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Sen Reggie. Can we give Sen Reggie a virtual round of applause here in our Zoom? I think Sen Reggie, it's not just 10 takeaways, no? Parang it's more than that. Parang sobrang dami, no? Parang it's not just 10. So I think we learned a lot of notable phrases from Sen Reggie, and I hope, like me, no, nag-take notes din kayo because super dami. Parang information overload aside from your experiences, your journey with JCI. We learned a lot, especially on your personal aspects, no? So we will now open the floor for questions and answers from our ladies here. So you can type here sa chat box or you can unmute yourselves to directly ask Sen Reggie, no?
Sen
Para may
Reggie.
unmute na nga
Ako
eh.
nag-unmute na ako. Sorry, mag-unmute na ako, Sen.
No
How
press.
to be you po.
No.
Grabe po yung energy nyo, Sen. Ano pong ginawa ninyo? Ba't po ganon? Gaano po kalakas yung energy nyo? Ano pong ginagawa nyo para hindi kayo? Siyempre, Sen, napo-burnout din kayo. Napapagod din kayo. So, ano yung nire-remind nyo sa sarili nyo to ignite that spark again, di ba?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, Press Joy. As a matter of fact, we always ask ourselves the same question. When we were students, when we were probably in grade 1, di ba? Can we even imagine ourselves finishing college? Hindi, di ba? Kung iisipin natin, my God, ang tagal-tagal pa bago tayo matapos, ilang taon pa yan. And yet you are here. You finished your tertiary education, hindi ba? It's the same thing with JCI. Because in JCI, you have a limited time, di ba? You have a limited time to learn, but a lifetime to apply that learning outside of your JCI experience. And that's the sad thing about some of our friends, no? Sometimes they take JCI so seriously, they feel that the JCI is the be all end all of their life's career. I was the president, I was the national president, and I see that in many of our leaders today. They take so much value in honorifics, titles, no, prestige, no. They forget the values. Why did I join JCI in the first place? Because I wanted to learn. And the reason why I accepted all of these, kahit nasabihin mo pagod na ako, is because I wanted to learn. How does it feel assuming this role? How does it feel when I make a mistake? How does it feel when I got embarrassed or napahiya ako dahil I was not able to deliver, or merong ibang external factors there? It tests your mettle as a person. Remember anong sinabi ni Abraham Lincoln, hindi ba? The measure of a man is tested not when he is not only successful but also when he fails, no? So the important thing that we need to learn here is that let's keep on going, because we have a finite number of time here in JCI. Let us make the most out of it. Kahit na pagod ka na, go for it, no? Sige, carry lang. Accept lang ng accept, di ba? So, ano lang tayo diyan? Let's work on making the most out of our JCI experience. Don't be like some happy member na they will just be there during fellowship, lalo na sa mga JCI senators, nag-golf, doon lang sa golf, di ba? Or yung nag-hire ng mga DI sa mga ballroom dancing, di ba? Mga ganun eh. Yung mga thunders yun. Yung mga tulad niyong mga bata pa, di ba? Wag lang puro fellowship, no? Wag lang puro kunwari nagmi-meeting kayo. Tapusin yung meeting, yung business matters before you go to the other matters. Hindi yung lilihis kayo kasi nagiging chismisan session yan, di ba? Ang daming mga marites diyan, di ba? So, ang point doon is you make the most out of your finite role there in JCI. And believe me, you will thank me for it. I hope I answered your question, Press.
Thank you, Sen.
Okay, thank you, Press Joy. Thank you, Sen. But mayroon pa po tayong isang question from our 2022 Director for Community Projects, Direct Maya. Hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sen Reggie.
Good evening, Direct Maya.
Pinikilig ako kasi na-meet ko na kayo finally, kahit virtual lang.
Hopefully, we'll meet each other in person.
Thank you po. So by the way, super inspiring po nung naging achievement nyo with the JCI. But I was just wondering, was there ever, can you remember an ordinary moment or just a random moment in JCI that really sparked a change in you, or a pivotal ordinary moment or a random encounter that you remember na this is not so much for the books na, ito yung achievement, pero it really changed your perspective when it comes to JCI?
Yes, there were actually two aha moments that I had when, to be honest, when I was just a member, I was a committee chairman, publications, so info, ganon, but, I consider myself happy member lang. I did not accept any position in our local board or even a higher position than that. At that time, petiks, di ba? Ganon lang tayo, ganon. Pero, what changed my perspective was when I was the publications chairman at that time, I visited a past JCI member who happened to be our printer, no? The printer nung aming publications. And in one of those mga books na nakalagay doon sa tabi, doon sa kanyang coffee table, nakita ko there's a book there, the 25th anniversary of JCI Manila, no? Manila JCs, no? 25th silver anniversary. That was 1973. Okay? And when I was, I was waiting for the time, I was looking at the at the pages, I got the shock of my life when I saw, oh my God, si Henry C. pala, naging director ng JCI Manila. Ay, si Washington CC, boss ko yan dati sa SGV. Naging ano pala, EVP pala siya. And then I was, parang hindi ko na-realize na ganyan pala ka-rich yung history ng aming chapter, na kung ako nga mismo, ordinary member na hindi ko naman alam to, what more yung mga mas hindi active sa akin, di ba? So, doon ko lang talaga na-realize how important the role of the JCI movement was in a post-war society at that time. And I made it a personal mission to chronicle this one, to let everybody know, ganito pala yun dati, ganyan. No? So that prompted me to do the coffee table book. And after that coffee table book, siyempre nakilala na ako ng national, ganyan, international pa nga. In fact, I failed to mention here, in 2004, when JCI celebrated its 60th founding anniversary in 2004, no? I was commissioned to do the history portion of the JCI. But hindi coffee table book, it was online, yung sa kanilang website. So every president, every term may kanya-kanya siyang ano. And I was paid for that, no? So hindi naman malaki, alam mo naman JCI, di ba? But you know, just to compensation for my time, no? Because it was really hard work. Yeah, it started with that. And the second one, the second aha moment was when, you know, when I was already graduated from JCI, no? Sabi ko, at that time naisip ko, wala na, since hindi naman ako naging presidente ng JCI Manila or hindi ako naging president ng JCI National President, wala na, patapon ng buhay ko, wala na, parang i-feel ko, wala na ako silbi, the opportunities have already closed for me. But you know, I realized that the learnings that you've done, the most important takeaway that you will get from JCI are not the positions, are not the prestige, no, for whatever prestige that is. It's the learning that you make, your personal learning. Of course, nandun yung network, nandun yung friends, di ba? But who are you? Sino ka? Di ba? Ano ba natutunan mo dyan? Nung nandiyan ka sa JCI for a few years, ano ba ang natutunan mo? And alam mo, doon lumabas lahat, no? Because of my stint in JCI, I was invited to become, I was groomed to be the president of Anvil Business Club, because they know that a person from JCI who is a JCI member, no, can be a good leader, no? And I have shown that repeatedly in my stint, no, outside of JCI. Now in the Rotary, for instance, isipin mo, Rotary Club of Manila, the first Rotary Club in Asia, no, even longer than JCI Manila. They were established in 1919. They are now celebrating their 103rd year already in existence, no. When I went there, sino-sino yung mga nandun? Nandun sila Alfredo Lim, nandun sila Fidel Ramos, nandun sila Joe de Venecia. You have businessmen like sila Henry C, John Gokong Wei, nandun sila. They're all members of that chapter, no? And I was surprised when I came in. I thought I'm going to go through the entire membership na petiks muna. Hindi. When I went in, grabe, ginawa na akong assistant club secretary on my very first year as a Star Rotarian. They call Star Rotarians baby JCs kasi yung counterpart, di ba? I was still a Star Rotarian. I was on my very first year, ginawa na akong assistant club secretary. And then the following year, I was made club secretary. And these are appointed positions. So sabi ko, sige, probably ayoko na mag-serve sa board kasi appointed lang naman yan. The person who was running for president the following year told me, Reggie, gusto ko nasa board ka. Tumakbo ka lang. Sabi niya, sige, ako nang bahala sa kahit na director level lang. So isip ko, tinanong ko yung executive secretary who has been with us for 25 years. Sabi ko, Ma'am Ana, Ano ginagawa ng board? Ay sir, wala masyado. Wala ba? O sige, di okay lang, sige, tumakbo ko, no. Lo and behold, no? Kasi ang election sa Rotary Club of Manila is automatic yan, regardless if you're new or a senior member or whatever. When you run, no, the first person who gets the highest votes automatically becomes the club president. And the second one automatically becomes the club vice president. My God, I was voted only 2 votes away from the highest vote, no? And I automatically became the vice president-elect. For those of you who are Rotarians here, you know what a vice president-elect is, no? So, grabe, parang, and I asked several people, sabi ko, bakit? I mean, why me? Di ba? I'm still new here, di ba? Oh, we've learned of your reputation in JCI, and, you know, so, everything boils down. Kung ibabalik-balikan mo, babalik din sa JCI, no? So, your reputation in JCI is very important. It can make you or you can break you. So, make the most out of it. And in answer to the question posed by Press Joy kanina, bakit sobrang mong active? Siguro, probably in my subconscious, iniisip ko din, ayokong mapahiya dito sa JCI. Because these people who are my contemporaries now will probably become business partners later on, or probably become, who knows, the president of a big company or even the president of the Republic of the Philippines, who knows, di ba? And true enough, many of them have become friends, no? Yung my contemporaries in JCI, JV Ejercito, he's now, you know, a senator, mayor. Sani Angara, at that time when I knew him, he was just a congressman. Now he's a senator, di ba? Coco Pimentel, who was my staff in the Herald, no? In the Herald, is now Senate President. Kaya kinuha akong when he became senator, di ba? Yung naglaban pala sila ni Zubiro noon, di ba? When he won that, the first thing he did was he called up one of our contemporaries, Abel Manliklik, and Abel called me and said, Reggie, gusto ka ni Senator, gawan mo siya ng speech dito sa ganito. I remember that speech was the 119th anniversary of Marcelo H. Del Pilar, which was going to be held in Bulacan. So he wanted the speech to be done in Filipino, in Tagalog. So I made the speech. When I submitted the speech, okay na, I thought nothing of it. And then, Coco called me. Sabi niya, Reggie, gusto kitang gawing speechwriter. Speechwriter ko. Paid speechwriter. Sabi ko, bakit ako? Sabi niya, alam mo, Reggie, I'm going to be truthful to you. I'm going to be honest with you. When I submitted, when I asked you to give me that speech, hindi lang ikaw ang hiningan ko. Hiningan ko yung ibang mga lawyers, mga illustrious lawyers. Ikaw yung nagustuhan ko. You have my style, di ba? And probably because I worked with him in the past. So I know more or less kung ano yung style niya pagsusulat, pagsalita, di ba? So yun, he got me a speechwriter during the duration of his first term. Yung second term na, ako na yung umayaw. Sabi ko, ayaw na. Kasi ang dami ko nang ginagawa eh. So yun, that's these are the things that you don't see now, no? But you will see and appreciate later on after your JCI career. I hope I answered your question. Direct Maya.
Sen Reggie.
Okay, thank you, Direct Maya. I need to read this comments lang at Sen Reggie sa chat natin. From 2013, Press Rina, valuable time spent tonight. Thank you, Sen Reggie. And from our 1995, President Cynthia, thank you, JCI Senator Reggie, for sharing your inspiring JCI journey. And we have one more question here from our 2022 LO Secretary, Sec Nanilyn Bontoyan. We have here, Sen Reggie, aside from keeping project on track, what is the most important thing a project chair can do to make a project a successful one?
Okay, there are two things that you can make a project a successful one. If you are familiar with your project planning system, we've learned that in our JCI, and I'm sure sila sila Pipi Agi and sila Pipi Cynthia would know this, yung sa PAE, di ba? Survey, analysis, ano to? Survey, analysis, planning, action, and evaluation, di ba? This is 5, no? 5 processes. You always have to ensure that first, you are able to deliver, you are able to come up with a viable plan, no? You can encapsulate that in a statement, no? That will serve as your mission statement for your plan. And the second one is you have to ensure that after the project is done, your project objectives are met. Okay, and that's what makes it a successful project. Of course, the overarching element there is really finances, no? So kung kinulang kayo ng pondo, ay malaking problema yon. So you have to make sure na may pondo muna tayo bago tayo at least you have a reasonable assurance that you will be able to raise the funds for you to be able to implement the project successfully, or at least to a successful conclusion. I hope I answered that question.
Okay, thanks, Sen Reggie. Anyone pa na may mga question from our past presidents? Do you have question po ba para kay Sen Reggie before we proceed? Pipi Agi.
Magta-thank you lang ako kay Reggie kasi he's been so happy that we've been together in our journey as senators. Okay, I remember Reggie in the early years that I was pushing him to be more active in the Senate, but actually he was one of the early young senators. The reason why the Senate now has a lot of young senators is Reggie was among the first to open the
door.
Path. Yes. Diba?
Yeah, but not all. Not
Being my director, yeah, hinahanap nila yung mga elderly. Salamat, Reggie. And really, dapat ulitin mo tong saga mo. It's worth write your book, write your story. It's a great story.
Well, thank you very much.
Story.
Thank you very much,
Salamat.
Pipi Agi.
Thank
As a
you.
matter of fact, Pipi Agi can write her own book because I'm sure she has many more colorful stories to share. No? Sa akin, I just breached the tip of the iceberg. And si Pipi Agi, mas marami pa yung sigurado.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, when you're at this age, be happy lang, di ba? Be happy, have fun. You'll
Enjoy.
realize the value when you are already at our age. Yes.
I will take that into consideration.
Casey's his family. Okay, it's like, yeah. For me, vitamins ito for, yeah, you never age here in this organization. Ladies, talaga.
Yes.
Kitang-kita naman po kay Sen Reggie saka kay Pipi Agi. Parang hindi po kayo tumatanda.
Alam mo, ang sikreto dyan is be with young people like you, Press.
Yes. Vitamins yan.
Yeah. Kasi
Salamat, Reg.
You're always with young people. You'd feel young, and it emanates from the inside to the outside. And that's what I discovered. No? You look at, my classmates, for example, in Xavier, who are my age now, they're fat, they're white hair sometimes, most of the time no hair na, di ba? Sabi niya, Reggie, bakit you still look young daw, ganyan? So sabi ko, well, I don't know. There's no secret. No, wala naman akong beauty secret or, youthful secret. It's probably the attitude that you have when you're with young people. So like you, that's why, and it's no wonder that our past presidents, despite their busy schedules, still make time to meet up with you, with the young people, because not only will it help them feel young, it's a symbiotic relationship wherein these pillars, no, will be able to impart the knowledge, the experience, the learnings that young people are yearning to get. And sometimes you don't listen to your parents, di ba? You listen to other people, di ba? So, and these are your second parents already here in Perlas Pasay. And well, at the onset, I would like to thank also, no, to our 11 or 12 past presidents who came here to listen to my talk. So I feel so honored, no, because when I was a regular member, I really look up to them, no, to for guidance, for mentorship, and now has come full circle, no. We listen to each other, talk about our war stories in JCI. And sooner or later, young people like you who are in this virtual room would experience the same journey, no, that we have traversed, because we're traversing the same journey lang naman. It's just that nauna lang kami, no. In your case, that's why I'm saying na nandito na kayo, make the most out of that journey, no matter how difficult, no matter how, I remember when NP Boydy was with me when he was the national president or something. Nagmumura pa yan. Nagmumura pa si NP Boydy. Puta, sabi niya, ba't ginagawa ko dito? Pare, ba't ko tinanggap? Ba't ko tinanggap tong position na to? Ang daming problema. Ganon. But at the end of the day, 20 pounds heavier, 20 years later, less hair, no? But then we all look back and laugh, no, at all the experiences that we've had over the past 20 or so years that we've been in JCI. And I'm sure you will have that experience only if you stay the course. All right. Anything else?
I think nag-raise po ng hand si Pipi Layden. Tama ba, Pipi Layden?
Hi, Reggie. Share ko lang, una, thank you for sharing your story. Baby JC pala ako noong 2004. Si Senator Reggie, rockstar na yan sa GC.
Man.
Kasama rin, equally rockstar din si Pipi Lavia. Past president. Mga rockstar na yan. And I'm very happy na nung naging president ako, he never said no to me, to all my requests for trainings. And I've just realized upon listening to him, one thing that, parang kung bakit siya nanatili sa JCs, wala nga siyang politika. Wala siyang masamang tinapay sa lahat. Hindi siya siguro take side sa mga mapolitikang GC. So, thank you, Senator Reggie. Grabe, mga 11 years ago, passionate ka na. Tapos, fast forward, you're still the same passionate Reggie that I've known.
Thank you very much, Pipi Layden. And of course, yes, thank you for those kind words. And I really take to heart also of the years that we've worked together when you were still the president. And I can see that enthusiasm still there in despite the many years, no, that we've worked together before. No? And correct, no, I said without the politics. Kasi, lahat tayo dito sa JCI, we're brothers and sisters. Why would you destroy your friendship, no? Or why would you enter an organization only to make enemies? Diba? You're here to make friends. That's why you're working on your expanding your network. Of course, I can understand politics. We have our differing views, and you tend to side from one view and another view. But then for me, as Barack Obama would always say, we can always agree to disagree. We should respect each other's views and not take it personally, no? And that's the reason why, despite the fact that I'm from JCI Manila, I'm still friends from Team Unity. di ba? Good friends from them. In fact, you know, I'm are very close friends with some of them. Like NP Mabel, I know she's from the other side. She's from Team Unity, you know. But you know, that never diminished our ano. In fact, she would sometimes come to me, magsusumbong yan, iiyakan ako, bakit yung mga ano mo, kasama mo sa JCI Manila, iniinsulto kami, blah, blah, blah. Okay lang yan. Sabi ko, that's part of politics. Don't take it personally. Mga ganyan eh, di ba? And we're really very good friends. And, you know, the same with our JCI Perlas Pasay sisters, no? I consider you not only as friends, but as part of the family, part of our extended JCI family. And whatever things that you know, you have, or if you need help, even outside of JCI, kahit na hindi JCI related, you feel free to approach me, to message me on Facebook, no? And if I can help sa abot na makakaya ko, I will take the time to help you out or support you, or you know, at least be your cheerleader on your endeavors, no? Because your success is my success. That's always my philosophy in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sen Reggie. Anyone pa na may questions or gustong sabihin to Sen Reggie? PP Meldy.
Hi, Press Meldy.
You're on mute, P.
Mute.
Yan. Unmute na lang po.
Naka-mute po, PP.
Yan.
Ayan. Thank you very much. Nakos, lahat na lang. Thank you very much. But on personal side na lang ako. Kasi nasabi na nila lahat. But during my term, talagang isang tawag ko lang din sa'yo, Sen Reggie, nandyan ka na. But the best things talaga na ginawa mo sa akin was, nung nagkasakit ako,
yeah,
isa ka sa mga tumulong. Thank you.
Always. Here to help.
Thank you. Yun lang. Yun lang, guys. Press, thank you. Thank you for inviting us, Senator Reggie, for tonight. And thank you for messaging us one by one na talagang dapat attend ako dyan no matter what. Hindi pa ako naligo, attend ako dyan. Diba? Kasi galing sa work kailangan maligo, di ba? So hindi ako naligo, attend ako dyan. Thank you.
Thank you. And as a matter of fact, I came from another function sa JCI Senate. I hosted the outstanding Filipino physicians all the way from Antipolo. Sabi ko, nako, I cannot stay for the induction ni Senator Mylene Dairit because I already committed to attend this webinar, no? So I had to excuse myself, drove all the way from Antipolo to Quezon City just to be with you girls.
Thank you, Sen. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, we've been receiving an overwhelming thank yous to you, Sen Reggie. And to proceed na for the awarding of certificate. There. Okay, so this certificate is proudly presented to you, Sen Reginald Yu, for sharing your skills and expertise as a speaker during tonight's Ablaze Igniting the Spark Within. So given this 17th day of March 2022 via Zoom, hosted of course by JCI Perlas Pasay, signed by yours truly, Cristal Nogar, 2022 Vice President for Motivate, and of course, Press Joy Medina, 2022 LO President. So can we have a photo op muna?
Direct pa-stop ng share screen. Thank you. Ayan. Hey, open cam po tayo, mga PTs.
Alright,
Baby JC.
open cam po tayong lahat so we can have a photo op with Sen Reggie.
We have two slides, no?
Saka
Yes.
naman, press one slide lang.
One slide lang. Okay na. Sa'yo na lang siguro, direct. Thank you.
Alright. Sige po, wait
Try
lang.
natin. Kaya sila mag-open lahat.
Okay. Sino pa po? SG. Baby JCs, please open your camera. This one's for the book. Tapos susunod, please, face-to-face ulit. Okay. Wait pa lang po natin yung iba.
Ayan.
Ayan, may baby.
Ayan.
So,
Okay.
while waiting for the others, isang lang po muna, isang shot po muna. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. Wala na pong habol. So, para we can, okay. Last one na po. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. Another one smile. 1, 2, 3. Yay, thank you everyone.
Okay, thank you, Direct Maya, for that. Now, for the closing remarks, may I call on our President, Pres Joy Medina.
Hello, ladies. Thank you so much po. Thank you, Sen Reggie, for being with us tonight. Super thankful. And una talaga kasi, Sen, parang ang thought talaga kasi namin is, paano ba masyado na kasing hype na yung babae lagi nag-empower sa isa't isa, diba? So, I think, sabi ko, meron talaga, nung narinig ko talaga yung talk ninyo talaga, somewhere in Area 1, okay, I think, best talaga na mas makakapag-share ng JCI Journey, not just with the JCI Journey, but also, as well, yung passion, diba? Yung paano, ang hirap yun yung ginawa mo, Sen. Mahirap yung ginawa mo. Pero, alam mo hindi mo hinayaang nawala yung passion na yon. Not just para dun sa JCI, but then also para mag-grow yung sarili mo. And then eventually, yun nga sabi mo, you gain networks, diba? Friends, diba? That you consider as your family as well. So we're very thankful dahil naging part ka ng Perlas ABC. Sabi ko nga po sa inyo, diba? We have this Perlas ABC wherein sabi ko, ito yung time na magsasama-sama ang past, ang present, at ang future members, future leaders of JCI Perlas Pasay. That's why we had this program of Perlas ABC Academy, Baby JCs, and Chronicles, which are the past presidents of Perlas Pasay. Kasi hindi po pwedeng mabuo kung ano man ang Perlas Pasay ngayon. It's always because of the members, of the past presidents ng Perlas Pasay. That's why hindi po namin po pwedeng makalimutan, kung saan nagmula, kung paano nagkaroon ng Perlas Pasay, sino mga nakasama at sino mga nakatulong sa amin, which is talaga isa po kayo, JCI Manila at Sen Reggie, na nakatouch ng bawat isa, ng bawat past presidents namin. Kung ano po yung naituro nyo at natulong nyo sa kanila, yun din po yung siguradong natutunan namin. Ako, natutunan ko sa kanila. And I want to share this also with our baby JCs na hindi lang tayo para pang community works, but also it's also about building our own, ourselves, and also building relationship, gaining friends with other people, with all other sisters as well. So thankful ako kasi maganda yung naging kinalabasan. Sobrang na-inspire kami. Tama yun, nakakapagod naman talaga, pero pag mahal mo yung isang gawain, gagawin mo lahat, di ba? So walang dahilan. So thankful kami, Sen, at you're with us tonight. Alam ko galing ka pa sa Antipolo, but then sobrang thankful kasi nag-spend ka ng time, and then nandito rin po mga past presidents namin. Thankful po ako sa inyo, mga PPs, kasi alam ko iba't ibang lugar kayo. Merong nasa France, di ba? PPSes. So ang dami-dami ninyo, nakakatuwa po. Thankful po si Pipi Madje, may mga klase po, Pipi Smile, Reginald, PP Rina, yung iba po talaga, PP Meldy, talaga, PP Aggie, PP Sharky, mga doktor, mga attorney, nandito po kayo kasi tawag ito. Alam ko pong naging ano rin sa inyo si Sen Reggie, and we're very thankful kasi ito pong nandito, nakikita namin kayo. I hope na itong mga baby Jesus natin na nandito ngayon and also the current members of Perlas Pasay, mas mag-ignite pa yung heart nila to help others, to help the chapter grow as well. So we're very thankful. Pipi Mafi also, nandito rin po si Pipi Mafi and Pipi Rina. So we're very thankful. Pipi Bea, na kahit na andyan si baby, alam ko, breastfed si baby, but then thankful kasi nag-umattend po and we're very thankful talaga. So sana po may next time pa with you, past presidents, kasi ako isa po ako sa product na nakita ko po yung support ng mga past presidents. That's why I stayed. Diba? Napagod din po ako, naglaylo din po ako, pero dahil nakita ko po kung gaano, biruin nyo naman po, meron pa pong mga 1988, 1985, PP Davis also helping us. Hanggang ngayon pa rin po, all of our past present sobrang supportive po. That's why I stayed and I still want to continue doing kung ano po yung mission, vision ng JCI JCI Philippines, JCI Perlas Pasay. And we're very thankful about this po. Yun lang po, hindi ko na po pahabain. Sana po makaulit pa po kami. Sen, papadala ko na lang po yung token namin sa inyo.
Okay lang.
Message ko na lang po.
Okay lang.
Okay, ladies. Thank you so much, ladies, for being with us tonight. Maraming salamat po. God bless everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sen Reggie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I believe that's the great way to end this tonight's forum. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Sen Reggie.
Thank you, VP Crisel.